In my younger years, the times when I was most fulfilled was when I was doing something else for another person.
You ever wondered how to make $1 million with social media? Well, it's like 5x the business in the last 12 months.
Yeah, you could say that.
Meet Daniel Rama. Rama's life mission is to share techniques for yoga, movement, and mindfulness.
I just enjoy life fully.
And he has dedicated his career to promoting health and fitness through yoga and mindfulness.
Richness comes to those who are simple and humble.
That's a 5 million business essentially annually. Welcome Rama to the show. Rama's life mission is to share techniques for yoga, movement, and mindfulness. He's a teacher of teachers that went from broken body to monastic life, from profound healing to helping others achieve the same. Rama, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, 100%. Let's kick this off with what inflection point made you actually start your business?
Start my business was never actually an intention of mine. I first and foremost found healing through yoga, movement, and mindfulness. And through that pursuit, started to share little bits and pieces of my practice, mainly through social media. And quite quickly, others started to ask me to come to their studio, their city, and start to share the things that I was showing online. I have always had a deep passion for service. I found that in my younger years, the times when I was most fulfilled was when I was doing something else for another person. So what I'm doing presently just seems to be the way that I am able to serve most effectively. And there are a couple of catalytic events like my injury, moving to the ashram, which slowly over time manifested in this wonderful life that I'm living and the opportunity to add a little value to other people's day.
Yeah, amazing. Essentially, with that social media, you can serve others at scale, which is something that's important to you. That makes sense. In your previous life, in Daniel's life, what did you do before?
Apart from teaching yoga full time, really the only thing that I've done for my work has been with plants. I worked in a number of different nurseries, cultivating fields. I think as far as the people that you typically interview on this show, we might classify myself as the most amateur when it comes to business acumen. I just enjoy life fully is my thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, it's also a good segue to actually talk about today. And today you are in business. So if I were a typical customer of yours, what's the core offer that I would buy from you?
There are a number of different things, both in person and online. Speaking first about the in-person offerings, I run a number of international workshops, retreats, yoga teacher trainings to help people experience transformative powers of yoga, movement, and mindfulness. This is primarily for all levels, but given the things that my body is able to do, people also come for the flashy physical postures, handstands, splits, back bends, all that kind of stuff. But really, I love teaching people who simply need the healing, like recognize that they are suffering on some level, physical, mental, emotional, and give them little juicy, practical pieces of information that will help them just feel better and walk through the world with a little more grace. On the online side, I run my Becoming Balanced studio, and this has a number of different offerings ranging from subscriptions, monthly, yearly, to one-time purchases for courses that are a little bit more in-depth. I run little bundles every time, roughly quarterly, so people can get access to like a handstand bundle, a meditation bundle, flexibility bundle. But everything that I do is revolving around what you could say global impact through individual development.
Very clear. If I were to interview some of your clients, what specific value in your offering do the clients rave most about?
That really depends on why they come. Becoming Balanced Studio is essentially a one-stop shop for all things yoga, movement, and mindfulness. So there's a lot of pranayama and breath work, which could help one feel more centered and grounded in their personal life, in their business life. I tend to add a lot of value from the physical side of things with just basic holistic healing. Yeah. So instead of all of the fancy, flashy stuff, people say that after doing some of my classes or moving through some of my courses, um, a certain amount of pleasantness just comes into their experience of life.
Yeah, very clear. Um, let's also talk specifically a bit about the price range. So where does it start on the low end? Where does it end on the high end?
Monthly is $19.99, yearly $199. And then I typically run a discount for $149, which a lot of people are opting in at. That's just for the subscription section. I also have my courses, which range from $47 at the low end to $347 at the higher end. Those courses are all lifetime access as well. And then with my in-person programs, we can get as high as $6,000-7,000 to attend a retreat or a more lengthy program.
Very clear. For the online branch, what tools do you use to deliver the value?
Yeah, so I run with an online platform that is quite comparable, I would assume, to Passion. I haven't checked it out myself. Their Impact Academy, they run my online studio as well as help facilitate some of my sale campaigns. That's the main hosting. We utilize Stripe, very simple setup.
Yeah,
Very much learning and adapting on the go.
clear. Take me on a timeline real quick. When did you launch the business as is with the current offer stack?
Current offer stack, the timing was good for me. I had an intuitive pull towards online offerings around the end of 2019. So I ended up launching my online space in February of 2020.
Yeah, best timing ever.
Yes. Yeah, that coupled with my social media presence, which at the time was likely around 250K on Instagram alone, as well as a little linchpin, which is a meta ads campaign that I typically run to pull email addresses. Those two things really help the online platform take off.
Yeah, wow. What a timing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And let's move over to a section called success. So in a typical month today, how many paying customers do you have?
Paying customers, we have around 700, between 7 and 1,000. And that ranges as well between the yearly and the monthly. I think most people are likely opted in at the yearly price. There are a number of others that are also purchasing those one-off programs each time per year. But the online stuff is about 60% of my income, about 40% coming from the in-person programs, which I teach many times each year at different cities. I'm off to Bangkok, Kuala Lumpur, just in a couple of days, Singapore, Hong Kong, other parts of Thailand, like that.
If you think the creator economy is really interesting, then I got something for you. On milliondollarcreators.club, we actually created a database of all the creators out there, and you see not just their fans, followers, subscribers, but actually how much money are they making. So with that, we bring now transparency into the creator economy, and you really see how are the best of the best get their customers, price their offers, create their offer stack, get customers, which tools are they using, how will they grow and triple their business going forward. So if that's interesting for you, including lists of who makes the most revenue, who has the fastest revenue growth, who has the biggest audience, who has the fastest growing audience, who makes the most revenue per follower, and who has the most exciting offer stack from low end all the way to the high end, then go to milliondollarcreators.club and enjoy the data. How many events are these per year, and how many participants are typically at such an event?
Yeah, that can range from the participant side of things. We're usually between 25 and 65, depending on the type of program as well as the teaching staff, so that we have enough time to facilitate one-to-one experiences for each participant. As far as regularity, how often they are, I would say 2 international workshops each month is pretty typical. And then I run 2 300-hour yoga teacher trainings, which are 5-week programs. I run 3 week-long retreats, and 1 2-week 100-hour intensive each year.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. Let me think. Because I, of course, run the numbers in my head. 700 to 1,000 customers a month. 149 is the discount. That's $12 a month. So, but you also like they can pay 12 to 20 a month. So let's go with 15 on average. 15 times 700 is 10 grand. That's 60% of your income. So that means, let's say ballpark 20K a month, double that. Coming from the retreat side, 6 to 7K, 2 retreats a month. That is 14 times on average 40 participants. That actually would be much more.
A lot of the retreat pay, of course, goes to venue. So not all of that is profit.
Got it. You're calculating income as profit. That makes sense. So if I talk top line, not bottom line, actually the retreats have quite like a revenue that they create. Let's say 50 people on average times 6K is 300 times 2 is 600K a month, theoretically. That's like a lot of revenue, right? But you have cost against it. Is that correct? Or is like my logic flawed?
It's a little bit less than that.
Okay. But let's say 400 and then the online arm. Well, that's like decent top line. Wow. Like that's like 5 million. That's a 5 million business essentially annually.
Well, I am a yoga teacher, so that's my first and foremost, but there is a lot of giving back that I'm doing as well. We usually have some scholarships, which again, drop things just a little bit so that people who are just not in a space where they can actually pay and attend these programs can come have some semblance of the experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, doing well regardless.
Yeah, you're doing well. Like the question I'm also digging a little bit here is because it's $1 million creators. I want to like see, like where are you on that trajectory? What I'm hearing is it's actually decent 7 figures. Maybe it's not 5. It's also not 1. It's somewhere in the middle in terms of revenue, right? Not
Yes.
profit.
Correct.
Yeah, nice. Okay, congratulations. Amazing. That is it's fantastic. I think it's a good inspiration for people out there to pursue their dreams. To understand growth as well, obviously, right? February 2020, business has been exploding, right? And then all of a sudden, like the COVID wave calmed down and everything. But let's maybe look at the last 12 months compared to today to understand growth. How has that changed? I don't know, revenue wise, customer wise, whatever makes sense to talk about.
Yeah, mainly with the addition of this linchpin that I mentioned in brief, which has been capturing since running in February. We're at around 20,000 email addresses that then feed into the big ticket items, which I call the Black Pass. This is a discounted yearly membership. And that ad campaign is self-sustaining in that we give away something for free. And then there's a little upsell. The revenue from that upsell is then reinvested into ads.
Yep.
So I actually pay nothing and just capture all of these email addresses to then sell my main offer for the most part. So the addition of that strategy has made a massive uptick in the amount of revenue that's coming in each month, for sure.
Nice. So you crack performance or paid ads, and it breaks even on the front end with the offers that you're doing. And for that reason, you can like sky's the limit. You scale it to the roof. And that means that, let's say you're at 200K revenue a month before costs, just like revenue. A year ago, you didn't have the paid ads funnel. You were likely at a fraction of that. So I don't know.
I did have a paid ads funnel, but it just wasn't nearly as efficient nor effective as the current one.
Well, it's like 5x the business in the last 12 months?
Yeah, you could say that.
Wow. Congratulations. That's amazing. That's so good. Before we talk about the funnel, real quick, how big is the team? Is it like you and a few contractors? How does it work?
Exactly. Yeah, it's me and then Impact Academy. And they have on their team a handful of people who help with creating the email campaigns, the landing pages for the actual sale campaigns. They help a little bit with customer support also. But for me, I've never wanted to outsource the customer side fully because I love interacting with people. So myself and then maybe 5 or 6 ICs.
That makes sense. That makes
Yep.
sense. So biggest, if I were to have the secret chat with your accountant on like the cost items, right? He would tell me it's the contractors, but likely even bigger is the ads. It's like ads and contractors, right? These are like the biggest items, then followed by tools.
Yes, for sure. And then followed by venues for the physical programs. But
Right.
comparably, that's
Right, that makes sense. Okay, let's talk about customer acquisition, lead gen. So, how do you get eyeballs awareness? You said you started a paid ads funnel to a lead magnet, which then turns into an email nurture, which then upsells into paid. Um, how much of your awareness eyeballs of overall, let's say, reach is that paid funnel? Is that like 80, 90%? Is that the majority? Or how would you answer the question, how do you get eyeballs awareness?
yeah, I would say that that's probably pretty accurate, closer to 70%. The work that I do with Instagram and other social medias is also quite helpful, although I'm never necessarily selling things online. I think I add a lot of free value through my work, and my online presence continues to grow.
Yeah.
So naturally, these people start to click links, inquire a little bit more, and find their way into the funnel that way, more organically.
Yep. What has been your secret to grow and convert your audience? I mean, you now have 400. Like, I actually added up the numbers. I included the email list and so on. I came just above 400K across Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and emails. What has been your secret to grow and convert this audience?
Definitely listening to the right people. Like I said, I'm quite an amateur. I'm really good at teaching yoga and adding value through my own unique skill set. But for whatever reason, I've managed to collect the right kinds of people. And I think that that kind of comes when you are doing something that you feel very, very passionate about. You tend to attract the right types of people to your business. And I'm always saying extremely open, extremely curious. Sometimes that doesn't work in my favor. Been taken advantage of in the beginning a couple of times. But the company that I'm currently working with, I'll slowly start phasing out of actually. But I've learned so much from them on how to do things and how not to do things.
Yeah, clear. Maybe let me double click on it really quick. We don't have a lot of time, but let's say you want to grow to 500, 600K followers in a short amount of time. How would you do it?
Yeah, so I have a little bit of a ratio as far as growth online goes. I typically go with 7 to 1. That's 7 parts education, 2 parts inspiration, 1 part about me. And that essentially leaves people feeling like they're gaining enough value where they can move themselves in the direction of the inspirational things, all the flashy stuff that I'm doing, and then the about me section to help them feel a sense of resonance with the one actually sharing the techniques. So conforming somewhat to this strategy, this simple posting ratio, has been a helpful way to grow online. And then also leveraging meta ads, that sort of thing. For me, every aspect of my business seems to feed very well into the next. So the in-person programs that I do, word of mouth, spider webs, all of those people want to do the online with me to continue their practice, continue their education. If there are people who are online, they want to come have the in-person experience. So honestly, I've never really had the direction. If I was to say right now what I would do specifically to grow, I wouldn't be able to give you like,
Got it. Okay.
but I would just listen to this inner voice and go with that.
That makes sense. The universe usually knows what needs to be done, and then you just have to have the guts to actually take that step. Let's talk about the future. Can you triple your business by yourself with the resources that you have currently? Yes or no?
Not sure I'd want to, honestly. I would love to reach more people, but I always want to maintain this element of you and me. We're here
Yeah.
having this conversation. It's an intimate experience coming to one of my programs or even doing online classes with me. Yeah, like money is great. It's a wonderful tool, and I would love to reach more people. But I really don't care at the end of the day. I quite
Clear.
enjoy my free time as well.
What's your big goal then for the next 12 months?
My big goal?
Yeah, like your goal, like what do you want to achieve?
That would be all personal stuff for sure.
Okay, got it. Um, okay, so you actually want to maintain the business. That makes sense.
Yeah, like I'm very happy where things are right now. I think that to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, I would have to start welcoming new team members on from the teaching side of things, which I
Yeah.
could do, of course. But I like how things are right now. I'm quite content with it.
Before we continue, there's one favor I would like to ask. If you enjoy what we do here and you enjoy the guests that we bring, please join Million Dollar Creators by hitting the subscribe button. And if you do, I'll make you a deal. I do everything in my power to make this show bigger and better for you. Do we have a deal? Enjoy the show. Yeah. Managing people is always not. Yeah, it requires like a different life.
Yes, I
Okay.
have experience with this and not the best.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not hearing this for the first time, so I understand.
sure.
What channel would you focus on if you were to grow? Like, what would be the channel that you're like, that's what I need to focus on if you were to grow?
Yeah, I'd probably drop in a little more with TikTok. I have not been using it very actively. I pretty much just reshare from Instagram to TikTok, and it's grown to 16K in a couple months, essentially passively.
Yep.
TikTok would be the big one, and then if I had more time, TikTok would be easier. But if I had more time, YouTube for sure. It's just a more
Next,
involved audience, longer attention span, but kind of more heavily curated content.
clear. Next section is called Favorite Five. It's a fast-paced section. You can answer in one word. Let's go. What's your favorite book or business book?
Very much enjoyed a book called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I believe it's by Robin Sharma. It's something that I read long, long ago, and it speaks to the importance of not so much moving outward, but moving inward to attain those same things.
Love it. Favorite way to get inspiration or to learn and grow?
Be quiet.
Yeah, I love that. What's the favorite person that you are studying, your role model?
That I don't know. I'll give a shout out to the place that I work at quite frequently, the Casa. The owner, Costa, is a bit of a gambler, and he takes risks that I likely would not take. But he's done incredible things in his career that are quite aspirational as well.
Love it. What's your favorite event or conference that you have attended or would love to attend?
I did a program with Sadhguru, who is a yogi and a
Yeah.
mystic, that was quite interesting, to say the least.
What's your favorite online tool for building your company?
Oh, there's a lot. I am a fan of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it there. There's a lot.
Your favorite city or place to move to?
Koh Samui, where I currently live.
That makes also sense. What's the biggest thing on your mind right now?
It's like food. No, biggest thing on my mind is just, again, enjoying life. I went rock climbing this morning. I swam in the ocean just after. Like I said, I enjoy my free time, so I love just living life.
Wonderful. Almost through. Personal section. How many hours do you work per week?
That's again debatable because I really don't see myself as having an actual job per se. But as far as the admin and boring stuff, like 5 to 7.
Okay, so let's go with 6 times 5, 30, or 6 per week.
No, like 5 to 7 hours per week.
Wow. Okay. How many hours do you sleep per night?
Around 6 to 8.
What's the situation? Married, single, any kids?
I am currently going through a divorce, which is a lot of fun. No children, no marital property, which is good also. So divorcing.
What's your age?
I'm 31.
Final question. We also want to give some advice to the audience. If you could go back in time and have a conversation with your 20-year-old self, what's the best piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
I would say richness comes to those who are simple and humble.
Deep.
This was the last message that I received while living my monastic life. And in many ways, I've based my current life around these values of simplicity and humility, or tried to.
This was Rama. Rama's life mission is to share techniques for yoga, movement, and mindfulness. He has built a massive online following, but he also has really good business acumen now, which he didn't have before in his old life. And with that, he was able to build a 7-figure business. Half of that is retreats, where twice a month you can go internationally on a really nice retreat with him. If you cannot do that, you can join his online teachings, the Balance Studio, subscription one time. There's everything that you need, coming from $20 a month, or if you get the annual discount, it's $147 a year, all the way up to some higher price points. And then you can, of course, join a retreat once you're really hooked. And otherwise, enjoy the free content. He has lots of free content on social, also a really nice email sequence that you definitely should join. The business is lean. He's living his life in one of the dream locations. This is where he wants to be. And he's very happy, he's fulfilled. He's going inward to achieve ultimate enlightenment, which he is very close to. And that was fun. Thank you so much for taking us to the next level and sharing your passion, Rama.
Pleasure.